The rain had not stopped for 6 days. The jungle breathed like a living beast, wet, restless, and humming with secrets. The recon team moved in silence, their boots sinking into the moss-covered earth as the canopy above swallowed all trace of daylight. Lieutenant Marcus Hale led the way, his map soaked beyond recognition, his radio flickering with static that whispered more than it spoke. Their mission was simple, or so they were told. Survey the Uncharted sector near the old crash site, mark coordinates, and return by dawn. But deep in the heart of that nameless jungle, simplicity was a myth. The place had a pulse, an ancient rhythm that none of them could ignore. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and wild orchids, the cries of unseen creatures echoing between the trees. Marcus could feel it, the sense that they were not the first to walk this path. He glanced at Sergeant Cole, his second in command, who muttered prayers under his breath, the kind his grandmother had taught him, old folk words to ward off spirits of the forgotten. By the 4th mile, the jungle began to change. The trees grew impossibly large, their roots twisting over ruined stone fragments carved with symbols no one recognized. The recon team stopped, scanning the moss-covered walls that peeked through the green like the bones of a dead civilization. Lieutenant Hale brushed away a layer of vines to reveal a carving, a circular door etched with spirals that seemed to move when the light shifted. It wasn't on any map. It wasn't supposed to exist. Private Daniels, the youngest of the team, stepped forward. "Sir," he whispered, voice trembling, "it looks ancient, like Mayan or older." Older. That word lingered like a chill wind. Marcus nodded slowly. "Mark the coordinates. We'll set camp here." But when night came, the forest refused to sleep. The shadows moved against the wind. Their campfire flickered as if unseen hands toyed with its flame. Daniels reported hearing whispers, low voices chanting somewhere beyond the trees. Sergeant Cole claimed he saw movement, figures slipping between the trunks just out of focus. No one slept. At dawn, they discovered something even stranger. The ancient stone door, smooth and circular, now stood slightly open. Not much, just enough to let out a faint breath of cool air, as if something within had exhaled for the first time in centuries. Marcus's heart pounded. He knew the jungle wasn't just playing tricks. Something inside had responded to them. They radioed command, but the static returned louder this time, the signal warping into distorted echoes of their own voices. "Hale? Hale?" the radio repeated even when turned off. The team exchanged uneasy glances. Then, against every rule of engagement, Marcus gave the order to enter. The air beyond the door was dry, unnaturally so. Their flashlights revealed walls made of smooth obsidian, etched with symbols that pulsed faintly as they passed. The deeper they went, the less sound reached them. Even their footsteps felt muted, as if the air itself was swallowing noise. Private Daniels shone his light across the floor and froze. There were carvings, figures kneeling before a circular portal, their faces erased by time. Above them, a single phrase repeated over and over in a language none of them knew. "Take a picture," Marcus said. But when Daniels raised his camera, the lens cracked spontaneously, without pressure or heat. They reached a chamber. Massive, perfectly round. At its center stood a pedestal, and atop it an orb of glass filled with swirling mist. Around it, skeletal remains, armor fused with their bones, their faces twisted in silent agony. Cole whispered, This looks like a temple." Marcus approached the pedestal. The mist within the orb shimmered with light, forming shapes that almost looked like faces, then vanished. His gloved hand trembled as he reached out. The second his fingers brushed the surface, every light went out. Darkness. Then a voice, not from the radio, not from any human mouth. It spoke inside their minds. "You have opened what was meant to remain buried." They stumbled back as the ground trembled. The orb cracked, releasing a pulse that rippled through the chamber. The walls began to shift, the carvings twisting into new forms depicting them. The recon team. Each one perfectly etched, frozen in poses they hadn't yet taken. Daniel screamed. The light returned, flickering erratically. The mist that had escaped from the orb hovered in the air, forming spectral shapes, tall, elongated beings cloaked in shadow. The legends whispered by jungle tribes came rushing back to Marcus. The keepers of the gate, ancient watchers said to guard the thresholds between worlds. They were not gods, nor demons, but something older, something that predated the very concept of man. Marcus tried to pull his team back. "Out. Move out now." But the door behind them was gone. The tunnel had collapsed, or worse, reshaped itself into smooth, unbroken stone. The panic was instant. They fired at the walls, bullets ricocheting off harmlessly. The voices returned, louder now, chanting in a rhythm that felt almost human but wrong, like language reversed. Cole dropped to his knees, clutching his head. They're inside, he gasped. They know our names. One by one their flashlights died. In the suffocating darkness, they could see without seeing faint silhouettes of their own bodies walking away from them, hollow versions of themselves, each stepping toward the orb and vanishing into it. Marcus grabbed his recorder. The mission log. If anyone ever found it, they needed to know. His voice shook as he spoke into it. This is Lieutenant Marcus Hale, Recon Division 7. We found a structure. Coordinates unknown. Do not enter. The door. Static drowned him out. Then silence. When the rescue team arrived a week later, they found the camp abandoned. The door was sealed again, covered in vines as if centuries had passed. No sign of Hale or his men. Only a cracked recorder buried in the mud. The final transmission played through static. We didn't find it. It found us. In the years that followed, satellite imagery of that jungle section showed anomaly circles of dead vegetation, strange magnetic fields, and shadows that moved even when clouds stood still. Locals refused to go near. They said the jungle remembers what it devours. And somewhere, deep beneath that green abyss, an ancient door waits once more, listening for footsteps, waiting for another curious soul to come close enough to wake it again. Because some doors aren't meant to open. Some are meant to remember. When the jungle swallowed the recon team, it didn't do so out of hunger, it did so out of memory. That place had seen civilizations rise and fall long before modern maps drew their meaningless lines across it. It had seen the stars themselves shift. But what lay beneath that canopy wasn't just earth and roots, it was a gate between what was and what never should have been again. Weeks passed before a second team was dispatched. They weren't told much, just that a recon unit had gone dark during a routine mission. Standard search and retrieval. Nothing more. But Captain Adrian Voss knew better. She'd read Hale's preliminary reports, and she'd seen the last transmission, the one where his voice cracked into static as if something had reached through the airwaves and squeezed the life out of it. Their chopper skimmed above the tree line, blades cutting through the morning fog that rolled like breath across the canopy. The pilot muttered something about bad readings, instruments spiking, compass spinning. Voss stared out the window. Somewhere down there, among those endless waves of green, was a story command didn't want to tell. When they landed, the air hit them thick, oppressive, filled with an odor that was neither death nor life but something in between. The first recon site lay ahead, a circle of flattened grass and broken tents. Equipment rusted as if decades had passed. Yet the campfire ashes were still warm. Voss crouched beside a strange marking carved into a nearby stone, a spiral, identical to the one Hale had described. The edges glowed faintly, reacting to her proximity. "What the hell is this?" she muttered. Sergeant Alvarez, a veteran who'd seen too many jungles and too many ghosts, spat on the ground. "Not natural. That's for sure." The radio crackled. A whisper, faint, familiar. Hale? Voss froze. They followed the coordinates logged from the first team's transmission. The further they went, the more the jungle seemed to shift around them, paths looping back, trees rearranging, the air thickening until breathing felt like swallowing smoke. Hours later they found it. The door. Massive, circular, alive with patterns that pulsed beneath layers of moss and age. Except now, it wasn't just stone, it throbbed faintly, like the heartbeat of something dreaming just behind it. Voss felt her stomach twist. "Jesus," Alvarez whispered. "It's breathing." Her instinct screamed to turn back. But orders were orders. She raised her hand. "Set perimeter. Document everything." As the team prepared equipment, Corporal Lennox touched the door's surface. It was cold, colder than ice. He jerked back with a gasp. The skin of his palm had turned gray, veins darkening like ink spreading through paper. Within seconds he collapsed. The medics rushed to him. His pulse was gone. But then, slowly, he exhaled a deep, ragged breath. His eyes opened, but they weren't his eyes anymore. They shimmered faintly like black mercury. "Lennox," Voss said cautiously. "Can you hear me?" He smiled. "Yes, but not as I was." The jungle went silent. Then he stood too smoothly, like a puppet drawn by invisible strings. His voice came again, layered with echoes. "The door remembers you, Captain. It knows your fear. It feeds on it." They opened fire. Bullets tore through him, but there was no blood, just darkness, mist bleeding from his wounds and curling into the air like smoke. The mist slithered along the ground, twisting toward the others. Voss screamed for retreat. The team scattered. The jungle responded like a living maze, paths shifting underfoot. The mist followed. Hours later, Voss stumbled into a clearing, the same clearing. No matter which way she turned, she returned to the same cursed space. And there it stood again, the door. Only now it was fully open. She could see what was inside. It wasn't another chamber. It wasn't stone. It was sky. Endless, starless, inverted sky. A reflection of reality twisted inside out. From within that void, she saw shapes, towering figures like the ones in Hale's carvings, faceless, skeletal outlines moving as though through liquid night. And at the center, the orb. Whole again. Pulsing like a heartbeat. Voss raised her weapon. "If you're in there, Hale, I hope to God you forgive me." She fired. The moment the bullet struck, the world folded. She wasn't in the jungle anymore. She was standing in a vast, black plain stretching to infinity, stars swirling like dust. Hale stood before her, uniform torn, eyes blank. Around him were his men, motionless, caught mid-breath. "Hale," she whispered. He turned, expression hollow. "We're part of it now. The door doesn't open to a place, it opens to a memory. It shows what was forgotten, what the earth tried to bury." Voss shook her head. I can't stay here." He stepped closer. "You already are." Her body trembled. The stars around them dimmed. The ground beneath her feet pulsed, and suddenly she could feel roots of the jungle, digging into her skin, pulling her down. Then light. A blinding flash. When rescue arrived months later, they found only one survivor. A woman, emaciated, barely breathing, her dog tags reading Adrian Voss. She was found miles from the original site, clutching a cracked recorder. The same static-filled message played over and over. It wasn't a door. It was a wound. And we tore it open again. She was evacuated, treated, and eventually placed in isolation after reporting recurring visions, faces in mirrors, voices whispering coordinates in her sleep, and an unshakable certainty that the jungle was still calling her name. Satellite scans of the region ceased soon after. The data had become unusable, magnetic interference too high, instruments repeatedly failing. Command officially declared both missions classified and erased from records. But to those who've been in that region, the pilots, the local guides, the tribes who refused to enter the valley, they still speak of the breathing forest. They say sometimes at night, you can hear the faint sound of metal scraping against stone, like something enormous shifting beneath the ground. And sometimes, when the fog is thick and the wind is still, a single light can be seen between the trees, a faint blue glow that pulses like a heartbeat. They say it's the door. Listening. Waiting. Because the jungle never forgets what it consumes. And once it remembers your name, it will whisper it forever.